welcome Flyffers. So we have another video today. It's going to be probably a really long one because the Q&A is finally released, and yeah, those were questions that we asked basically in October, and now we're having official answers by Gala, and we are, as the first question already suggests, we are actually getting some more and additional information on the autumn expansion. And I haven't read any of the questions, so it's going to be some kind of a reaction video, but I will also share some thoughts on similar when we are doing a patch rundown. So let's get right started. When can we expect to see autumn expansion? Firstly, we apologize for the delay on the release of this expansion. However, it is going to include some new features that were not included in the original roadmap, which has extended the development phase. How do you think players will appreciate these features? We did receive feedback after the announcement of the expansion to not release new content too quickly, so we prefer to take our time and add more into it rather than rush the previously announced content. So they kinda apologized, but they kinda also didn't apologize. This, to me, sounds like a justification, and if this is the case, they want to add new features, they could have informed the community way before this. So this now, like saying this now, just sounds shady. If you do this in advance, hey, sorry, we can't do it, like we want to do, include your suggestions and stuff like this, this sounds believable. This now just sounds like a well-written excuse based on information from Discord. We are happy to say that development is almost complete and we are deep in the testing phase of each feature now. If it all goes according to plan, you can expect to see some exciting previews throughout the next week and more news to come. This, however, I really like, because it's really important as a publisher to create a hype. So if they're doing really well done videos to show and tease content and get people excited, you may be able to get people that already quit because it was so boring, there was no communication flow, and you can get those people back. So this is a good move. You can also expect to see a long document detailing everything about the expansion patch, similar to the one released to the summer expansion, sometime before release. I also like this. The document was well written. It basically had like 90% of the information you were actually looking for, and it gave you some time to prepare for the update, so well done. To give a little more information on the expansion, here is a short list of things we are working on besides what you have already seen on the roadmap, some of which have not been announced yet. Okay, enhanced graphics engine, completely irrelevant for myself. Dungeon instance system, which will be also used on the existing group quests. This makes a lot of sense. I think they got criticized for this so hard that they put such an antique system in a new game. And yeah, they have to do it, and I really like it. And I hope they are either doing like a daily entrance or weekly entrance into the dungeons. And what would also be nice would be like a low cooldown, but low drop rate, so the market doesn't get flooded. This way people that are actually dedicated and can farm a lot have an advantage compared to those people that can only play like a few. So yeah, that's something I personally prefer, but probably the majority doesn't. Then finally an upgrade pity system. Holy shit. We have suggested that like from the beginning before the game even released, and it was not here, and I was already thinking about, oh, they're never going to do it, but now that they're actually doing it, well done. And now that they're actually saying they are doing this, this means almost no one will buy any F coins or for upgrade mats or whatever at the moment. They all want to wait for the pity system. So by announcing this, you can expect the update to come fairly soon, because announcing something like this is a loss in sales for them for sure. So I'm pretty sure that just by reading this, the content update is not too far off. Forsaken Tower daily challenges, that looks promising. I don't know what's behind it, but I like everything that is daily, that brings people to log into the game, come back, don't get hooked on other games, stay with it. That's really good. New boss and dungeon mechanics. Yeah, we will see. Like, I already know that they were working based on tractors, Stellar Flyff, mechanics. So if they're even close, not even close to this, no, like 80% of it, then they're already good. So if they're doing it even better, then this can be amazing. Optional master quests. Not sure what this actually means, to be honest. I hope it has nothing to do with master and hero, because they already promised they are not doing like master and hero system. But yeah, we will see. Boss loot distribution rolling. Those systems, they help to form groups that don't know each other to farm dungeons without having the fear to get scammed or something like this. But depending on how they are even designed, the RNG value just gets increased even more. So let's say you need to farm a boss 50 times. You have to kill it 50 times to get your weapon. Your weapon is finally there. You have been there 50 times, and some random guy is in there for the second time and then just rolls higher on the loot than you and gets it. You know what I mean? Like this, like I am not a fan of systems like this. I always prefer to farm with the guild, with people I trust. But maybe it's good for randoms, but I don't know. Like I really think those systems like this are unfair. Unless they take in consideration how many runs each person has done and how many effort they put in. And now we have something that can maybe get a little boost to PvP, a secondary stat page. So we don't know yet how to change from one stat page to the other, but depending how this is going, like many people told me, I would play PvP. I don't mind buying additional gear, but I don't want to spend like 40 to 60 euros a month just on restats to play. That's ridiculous. And this feature could prevent this and bring some more people into PvP. So looking forward to this. Will the game one day be more accessible in terms of upgrades or stuff and or jewelry? It is not planned to change the existing upgrade probabilities of item, however probabilities for future systems such as piercings could always be more forgiving. The coming expansion will also introduce an upgrade pity system to help out those who are very unlucky while upgrading their items, guaranteeing success after a set amount of failures. Okay, so here they basically explained the pity system a bit more, because there's actually different pity systems out there in different games, and we are having a guaranteed success after X amount of tries here. Some other systems also go with like, if you do 10 fails at a 5% success rate, then your next, you will go into a 10% success rate. If you do another fail system there, then you get higher chances until you reach 100%. But here we can probably see one of those that's implemented on almost every private server, where you're getting, like, for example, on Ultimate plus 10, this is just an example, after 2000 tries, you're having a guaranteed upgrade. Why did you launch Flyff Universe with so little content? Aren't you ultimately afraid to make a browser-based Flyff PC? From our point of view, an MMORPG needs to be in constant development, so it's better to add content periodically rather than having all the canon of the game out. Don't worry, we still have many cards up our sleeves. The game is likely to take a different direction than Flyff PC for most future content. This is surprising to me. I would have never expected such a statement like this, because lots of stuff that they're doing is low effort, like events, they're just repetitive, they don't put any heart into it, and the cheapest and low effort way would be recycling the content from Flyff PC, and I'm surprised to actually be reading this, so I will have a close look if this, what they're saying, is actually true, or if they're just trying to pack the old shit into a new code and just call it new. How exactly is EXP distributed? If the leader is set to level or country, what changes? What is actual precise formula for EXP distribution in both settings? From base experience, a mob yields over EXP penalties due to being over-leveled to the amount of leechers and active or passive life. What is the exact formula for EXP distribution? Since we can't really give a simple answer to this on this Q&A, as the calculation for this is quite long, The developer will add the full calculation to the source code of Flyff later in the future, which can be found here. Okay. After this video, we will take a look at it. And if I find the full formula, I will explain it for you guys so everyone understands. Have you planned an auction house to reduce the number of stores in capitals? We are not close to the idea of adding an auction house system, but it's not in our immediate plans and has not been given concretely yet. We do understand, however, that an auction house is a controversial future because of many players' love for the traditional private shop system, as well as the fear of pricing fixing with an auction house. Okay, so if you want to implement an auction house, the most important part is that you have items that are limited. So basically, you're not allowed to put items into an auction house for longer than 24 hours. And after 24 hours, all items in the auction house are always getting removed, like all of them. Just don't put any fees in the auction house, whatever, it doesn't work. Just remove all items after every 24 hours, and then the prices can develop new again. If you have longer periods of items, then the nature of the players is just like you see a moonstone for 100k. Next person goes and sets this moonstone for 99k. Then the next one for 98k, and the prices will drop with the auction house. That's why many people are scared of the auction house. But with a 24-hour clearance of all items and no fees in the auction house will be really good and actually beneficial for reselling. Are any new classes being considered? Yes, we do plan on adding new classes in future expansions, but it will not be anytime soon. This is really good. We already made a video about it, and I hope they are actually looking at the old Korean development informations and base their new classes on the class that didn't make it and that didn't make it for the original release and got distributed by the Acrobat. Is the return of Coral Island planned? It is possible that Coral Island will return, but in a different way from Flyff PC, maybe similar to how Asria was implemented. Okay. Hey, can you add daily quests or something to do about the game? We get bored. The new expansion is focused on sideways development, meaning that it is supposed to give you more things to do besides the regular grinding and leveling. Okay. That's a weird answer because they added Battle Pass with daily quests, so not sure what they're referring here. Is it possible to stack items from different events? We are lacking in inventory space. Unfortunately, this is not possible without getting into technical terms. Objects have different properties that are unique to them. Stacking them would require them to have the same, which is not the case. Don't understand at all. It's doable on all private servers, where you can assign a certain item ID to your event items, and by having the same item ID, they are stackable, so nothing to do with like technical terms or whatever. I'm pretty sure if they would want to do it, they can do it because private servers can do it as well, with no issue. What do you have planned for the PK? I find it not interesting. With the new PK rework coming in this expansion, we focus on incentives to get on the PK channel, as well as reducing possible ways of abusing the system. You can expect to see differences in the karma system as well as rewards for PKing. Okay, so if you give rewards for PKing, I would say there's always people that are going to find a way to abuse it. But this right here, like incentives to go onto the PK channel, that makes a lot of sense because that forces people into PK, but it also gives them some kind of reward for the risk they are going to take. So basically, like you can say there's like 20% experience increase on a PK channel compared to a non-PK, and then everyone can decide if they want to take the risk or not. Why are Pang's buffs level limited? The buff Pang is only there to help get started in the game. It's a small boost to start your adventure. This answer is not even answering the question, and it's not solving the problem Flyff has. So Flyff Universe has many players that are quitting before the game actually starts. Like it's just too hard for them in the early game. And Flyff PC, even Flyff PC realized that they have to do something, and they added rental gear and better buffs in the early game, so new players don't have the feeling of like, oh fuck, what am I doing here? Oh my god, I died against this monster, I died against this, I'm dying again, I can't afford the food, I have to walk all the way up there. Like all this frustration that new players will face could be solved by giving them better starter gear and provide better buffs for a longer duration. So this answer shows me that they don't really understand the struggles of new players in their own game, and they haven't done any analysis on it, which is fairly sad. When will the merge of the Arias server happen? We understand your concern about the Arias server, which is why we are working on its merge. We do not have any dates yet, but it's still a work in progress. Yeah, we already talked about merge quite a lot on this channel here, and like splitting those servers besides Asia, where they're like really big, more people than like in EU, for example, made never sense. We said that on day one on stream that sooner or later they will have to merge the EU things, and I hope they're not only considering this, they're only considering merging whole EU, because the player count on all EU servers is still lower than on Lava, for example. So the servers can handle it. They can't tell me their software, their hardware is not good enough for the merge, right? And rather do it now, where the game is like still really active, or you're going to do it at a later stage where it then looks really desperate as a move to save the game. But right now there could be like many benefits on it. So yeah, that's interesting there. Is there a plan to add a class change, for example, switching from blade to knight? Okay, there is not. And thanks God, because if this would be a plan, then like leveling multiple classes, what many people enjoy, would be kind of pointless. And many people are at the moment only sticking to the game because they are leveling up secondary characters, because they enjoy it, want to do something else. And I think if something like this would exist, the overall population would be a lot lower already, because people would lose interest faster. Do you deal with bots? I keep sending you ports and I always see the same bots. Of course, bots are high priority. However, as we hope you can appreciate, there are lots to deal with daily. We are doing out, must eliminate this problem. Eliminating bots is not an overnight task, and it's something many games struggle with. Yes, this is true. It's something almost every MMO struggles with, really hard. But on the other hand, in the development blog, they were like going ham on how great their artificial intelligence is. They're going to automatically, with their AI, stop their RMT and the botting and whatnot. And now basically all we have is like a captcha that opens once in a while. So many promises made, none of them kept here. And I've already got messaged by someone, and he got unbanned after botting just by promising to not do it again. So I don't even know how strict they are, and what if they differ between bots that are trying to generate penya to be sold on like big money selling penya selling sites, or if it's like a private person that wants to save some time. I don't know what they're doing exactly, but the problem is real, and if you don't have any automatic tools and systems to prevent it, then you just need to hire more people to get a hold on it. Like, it's unacceptable to answer, yeah, other games struggle as well. That's a stupid answer. When you mention new dungeons, do you mean the Forsaken Tower? No, we are not talking about Flyff PC dungeons either. They are brand new dungeons with lots of new challenges. You can expect to see the Forsaken Tower in some form though, although not exact the same purpose as Flyff PC. Okay, since you already know that secret room is going to come out in the next expansion, which means the tower needs to come out as well. So that also makes sense that they put the daily, that we read at the start, like the daily challenges into the tower. Are pets locked for level 6 and 8 seats? Yeah, we already know this. Will there be a level synchronization system so that you can go with your level 140 character in example level 80 dungeons? No, but the dungeon system will work in a different way than Flyff PC. Therefore, we have the possibility to add a high-level mode to the dungeons if we need to later, all without interfering with the level or statistics of the character. Okay, so what I don't like about this sentence is, if we need to later. Like, that you need to do this is already said. Like, before, like, if they're releasing new dungeons that the max level players can only maybe like enter 1 instead of 5 of the new dungeons, because they didn't do the high level mode is what they're calling it right away, and they're doing it later. The backslash and the hate will be so hard. Like, I hope that this was just like mistyped, and it doesn't mean that, yeah, they're going to see what it's like, and if we ever need it, then we're going to add the high level mode to the dungeons. How balanced will be the new improvements be? Can you still play as a team, or with the changes to the game is evolving to only player? Okay. That question is weird. It is obvious that perfect and definite balance does not exist, which is why we constantly work to offer you the best Flyff experience. On the contrary, the new dungeons will encourage you to play as a team, but will likely also be possible to solo at certain levels or difficulties. Okay, so if it's solo content on a low difficulty with a low drop rate, but if you're doing it on a team with a high difficulty, you're getting a lot more out of it. That means, like, if you're a 5-man team, that the drop rate on the team dungeon needs to be at least 6 times higher than the solo one. Otherwise, it makes no sense to play with the team. So I hope they know how the math works behind this. And it's not like, yeah, you can do it as a team. It's really hard. It takes a lot more time, but you only get like twice the drop rate. Because then it makes no sense, and many games fail on this logic behind there. Because, yeah, for obvious reasons, right? Every player is investing their time, so they should have at least the same drop rate as if they're doing it solo, and they need a benefit to do it as a team. And about perfect balance doesn't exist. Perfect balance doesn't exist in PvP. In PvE, perfect balance does exist, and it's actually easy to achieve. So, yeah. Do the new dungeons come with additional new equipment? Weapons, sets, jewelry, etc. No, the dungeons of the new expansion will not bring new equipment. They get the new weapon piercing cards amongst some other rewards. Okay, this is also a nice to know statement. I heard rumors about this, but having this confirmed means I personally was rating on plus 18 to 15 jewelry. I didn't bother upgrading higher, but with this now, yeah, I can definitely start going for plus 20 jewelry if no new jewelry is coming out. When will you introduce new events for late game? People who already reach level 100 literally don't have anything left to do in place. Make Flyff Universe more entertaining, not just grinding by new equipment, grind and borrowing cycle repeats. Hope you listen to community. We hope that the new expansion will bring lots of new content to the game that you can enjoy between the regular grind for levels. Okay, this is not answering the question of what they're specifically offering for 140 players. So completely bypass the question. Will there be a blessing of pet timer or chance of pet timer to be able to reroll pet stats? Okay, it's understandable that they don't want to do it because they think the Peñas think they created was a good idea. Even though, based on the pets being so expensive, not many people, or the majority, is not even using it. I doubt that the Peñas think, besides the initial start, is actually consistent. Especially now that the high spenders already have their pets made. Are you planning to release the third job? If yes, when? If yes, would the skills be changed for balancing purpose? If not, sad. We could be releasing some version of third jobs in the future expansion or introduce some of the third job skills over time. That was to be expected. Can the drops from dungeons be bound to a party to actually involve players other than buying gear from players? It's killing the game by people not doing content and driving prices up and up. These new items should be more than max jewelry, so people who spend a ton on it will still have best in slots 20 stats or have the current ones to be traded into the new item If they drop from the bosses, that's low percentage. We don't plan to lock dungeon drops to the party running the dungeon. Farming for items and selling them to our place is a big part of the game and important for the economy. Okay. Like this question, it's more like a statement, and I think that sounds ridiculously stupid. Like, I don't know. Like, that sounds so dumb. Like, buying and selling items is the key of every MMO. Like, so linking the drops out of there. Like, you will... Oh my god. Like, that makes it so much less enjoyable. Especially after people have their stuff. They will instantly quit. They will not be motivated anymore. And you will basically create a system where at a certain point that is now even faster to reach than it was before, people are not interested in your game anymore. So that's really stupid. Will the new dungeons be guild dungeons or party-based? For example, you can blah blah blah, okay. The new dungeons will be solo or party-based and instance, okay. Will the Power Dice 8 have more utility? Power Dice 8 will be used in the new weapon and shield piercing system. You can expect that to be another sync and utility for them. So this is pretty good because I bought about like 3 or 4k Power Dice 8 already for the new system. So at least I didn't waste my money there. Is there any way to make some money with multi-clients like the collector field? Okay, they're saying no. And thanks God, because the collector field, like, ain't that just like running a bot? You're leaving your computer on and you're getting a reward out of it for basically doing nothing. So I never liked that system at all. Like, why would you benefit people and get them like gear for like leaving their computers on while it does nothing? Like, stuff like this is understandable if you're talking about blockchain games, but here it makes no sense, and I appreciate that they don't have any plans for it. Firstly, congratulations on restoring Flyff to an excellent state. A lot of the decisions made in developments have made Flyff enjoyable game to play, but not for long. I'm sure you track the numbers internally, but the drop of players post 60 must be alarming to you. In what in mind do you have any plans to flatten the EXP curve post 60 and offer more meaningful milestones to increase players? Okay, that's what we already said in a previous one, that I think they have to analyze at what state people are quitting, get back to them, and for example, like Flyff PC, add rental gear and longer buffs to make the early game easier for the people. So they're saying they don't flatten it out. Yeah, they're just referring to the new expansion again, which just shows me that they are not realizing the actual problem. Why fire element is not glowing like water so unfair? That's not a question. It is a question, but... Okay. I don't know what to do with this, like... Let's just continue. Are you going to release new armor sets or weapons? Okay. I already said that. There's new stuff. Is there any new PvP content, like matchmaking between 3 players against another 3, or 5v5, which we could done any time of the day? That would be really fun. That would be fun. We definitely have plans to introduce lots of new PvP systems in the future, so please give us time. Well, they already said that they're going to release 1v1 Guild Siege, so let's see if they fuck it up or not. But chances are pretty high that they do, so. What is keeping the developers from making a queuing system for raid bosses? The current system promotes use of auto-clickers just to have that advantage of best click wins, so it's the direction that Flyff wants to go with. I have no idea how a queuing system for bosses and auto-clickers have anything in common besides auto-clickers being bannable. So, no idea how this is related, it makes no sense. For PK channel higher incentives, we've already discussed this. Is there going to be a server merge between Klaven and Mia in the near future? I think our population in Mia went down a lot in the past months. Okay, yeah, probably from what I heard about the player numbers, like they don't even need a nerf. They are still like really overpopulated compared to other regions. It's not a real question, but a suggestion. Maybe you can do a Guild War siege that has objectives like to destroy enemy bases. Okay, we've already talked about stuff like this in Okay, interesting. Would like to know who wrote this, because this sounds exactly like something I said word for word in my stream. Interesting. What does more slots or two-handed weapons mean? It means that two-handed weapons will be able to pierce more cards than one-handed weapons and shields to make up for the missing cards from not having an offhand. Oh. Okay, so now we already have the number of piercing slots confirmed. So it's 10 in total, no matter what you're playing. That's good. Why does it go straight to level 140 instead of having a master or hero level? Doesn't matter what the answer, it's good like this. Will there be a point where EXP gain will be permanently increased? Only very ambitious players are able to reach high levels right now. They know that a major crowd stopped playing around level 70. Okay, so no plans to permanently increase, but they're going to do stuff. Buying Penya and Gcash? Better not. Okay. Hello devs, I'm a player. Like for the people that don't know, that's basically, let's call it Pinoi sales for the RMT. Hello devs, I'm a player since the launch of the game, also been spending quite an amount on it. I would like to ask with the progression of gears and weapon piercing cards in the new initiative, raised pet, angel with crit chance, how would you balance the particular raised pets as progression goes on? Weapon piercing cards might give critical chance and gears that give, okay. So it's about like, will pets be useless or will you have to change your pet? Thank you for the question, your concern is understandable. We will always keep things like this in mind when introducing new stats, as to not add too much power creep to the game. Okay, I would argue that they don't have anything like this in their mind, because then they would not be constantly releasing power-ups and events that are completely useless and can't be used and stacked with others. Like what the heck? Pretty sure no one tested out what's the best pet for every class and if the update is changing it or not. Pretty sure they didn't. Are there plans for the third job class to have 2 branching classes? And will we ever see Puppeteer as a 5th played first job? And is there a chance for potential first? Okay, we've already had this. And this is what I said before, like that in the Korean alpha, there was the Puppeteer class. We already made a video about it. If you're interested, take a look. It's on the channel. Are we going to get something like the old R3 in the sense that it's a premium area with no rats and 2 times the XP? Okay, so basically they're saying ticket areas can be introduced, but the only incentive they would give is like more space. And yeah, but still they don't want to have premium areas, which sounds good. And it's definitely more free to play friendly if it is like this. Do you have a marketing team who does advertising and endorsements? Yes, something a lot of players seem to misunderstand is thinking there are no advertisements. If they don't see any advertisements, are not meant to be shown for people already related to the game. This is a complete false statement. It is almost impossible to have target group assignments that can already check if you have the game played, if you're playing the game or not. This is almost impossible. And for example, I see YouTube ads on Flyff Universe every day at the moment. The ad is extremely shitty. It's just the logo. It has nothing to do with the game besides being the logo. And it's not appealing or like teasing and making people want to click on it. So yeah, it's just sad reading this. Really sad. because that means they don't know how the algorithms work and how the target groups are assigned and which commercials are able to read cookies and which are not. When will the client be available on a computer? That way it's easier to log in. We do have plans to introduce an official client in the future, but we do not have a time frame yet. Okay, I see no reason to use a client that's running perfectly fine in the browser. I don't know what a client is changing, but if people enjoy rather playing on a client than in a browser, why not? Why not try to get something that the majority of the people wants? Please introduce payment with mobile phone bill. Phew. This is something, I don't know. Really weird, really hard to track for young people, for the parents, and I don't think games should ever introduce stuff like this. If they do, they most likely have a lot of trouble and lawsuits coming in, as many other games have already shown. Will Flyff Universe ever consider adding non-combat skills to the game? These could include farming, cooking, and fishing. Oh, okay. But don't we already have some kind of stuff like this already? But yeah, they can at least improve it a bit. So something that's made on many private servers, for example, is being able to cut wood and use the wood and other stuff you're farming in dungeons to then craft furniture. So something like this could be maybe added. Why is there no content creator program that provides a win-win situation for Gala Lab and the creators? Oh, interesting. That's one of my questions. It is just about the time it would take. Some kind of partner creator program or something like Twitch drops for in-game items is definitely something we could like to explore when we have the time. Interesting. Maybe the person that is apparently in charge of the marketing program should do some calculations on how good corporate influencing and affiliate marketing is, and based on the return of investment, and how good, for example, Facebook, YouTube ads and on stuff like this is. And then come back to reconsider this. If we have time, we do it. Why are the EU servers not merging even though the player peaks are so much lower as CR servers, for example? Oh, that's also, I think I've also written this for sure. We don't feel the need to merge EU and US servers at all at this time. Aren't they contradicting? But, okay. Are there any efforts on improving the precision lag issues? Because they already said they're considering areas merge on top, right? And now they're including US again. Are there any efforts on improving the position lag issues? It's an absolute mess. Without getting too technical, the downside of having much better cheat avoidance than Flyff PC is the position lag issues. We definitely will work on improving the synchronization, but it will take time. Okay, interesting. I never knew that position bugs are based on cheat avoidance. The way it is on Flyff PC, you're having a world server and a character server, and if both servers are desynchronized, then you're having a position lag until they're synced again. So I can imagine it has something to do with tubing, the desyncing, but I don't know too much about it. Whether the content of version 18 and 19 will appear. Okay, interesting. Now they're saying you can expect the version 18 and 19 content in Flyff PC. And on top, they stated everything will be brand new and not copied from Flyff PC. So already controversial in their sayings. Dear Flyff Universe development, I love this game very much. I like to explore the content of the game, but I still have many things I don't understand. So I often read Flyff Universe Wiki, but there is no content in the latest version on Wikipedia. Hope the Flyff Universe Wiki can be updated in a timely manner. Thank you very much. The wiki is not an official service run by Gala Lab, it is a fan-made website. Yeah. Do you know why it's not official? Because they are too cheap to pay Suede, man. That's so cheap of them. holy shit. Like, pay that guy to do it. Like, make it official and pay that guy. What the fuck, man? Ridiculous. When we get a reworked karma system, do we get a karma points level reset for all characters in universe? Yes, everything will reset. So that means if you have a character that you don't actively play, go ahead and PK as much as you want. You will not have to pay for the reset. Why is the cloak not showing when a character is on mount? Is it possible to show it while flying? Okay, that's interesting. So they're saying it's a design choice that the cloaks are not showing, because it's clipping through they're calling it mounts. I would call it flying device. Mounts to me is more like something that's riding on the ground. And if this is the reason, I don't know, that's weird, because like if you're, for example, a yo-yo jester, your yo-yos are piercing through the cloaks. It looks shit. That's why I have my cloak turned. That's why I have to turn off my cloak, because it's not designed well. It's the same for shields on build posters and stuff like this. Let's get a quick drink first. Is there a long-term roadmap for the development of the game? Since the core game of Flyff is over a decade old, what plans and events are placed in insurance? Oh, okay, that's interesting. We do not have a public long-term roadmap. We have plans internally for many new features to keep the game fresh over time that we think players will enjoy. Okay, so they completely, in this answer, they completely cut out the events part right here. And based on how they're releasing their events, with like just recycling anything and just pumping them modular effort, I'm pretty sure they have no event manager that is in charge for, I don't know, creating all the events for the next year, for example, and stuff like this, like making them interesting. Like they're lacking members here again, I assume. Like, I don't know. I don't get it. Can it be made so monsters don't easily scatter when collecting because the monster chasing time is too short and easy to escape? Okay. I don't know, like this is perfectly fine. There was one of the changes made to AoE, and the people that have like good gear can still hit and run, and all the others can still face tank. Like, I see no issues here. Can we change the skin color of the character in the future? We don't have any plans for this future, as it requires a large amount of development time and is not a high priority at this moment. Makes perfectly sense. Why is it difficult to top up F-coins with a credit card? If you're experiencing issues topping up with your credit card, please send us a ticket to the appropriate payment provider or try to use a different one if possible. So, a big part about credit cards and MMOs is many people like buy stolen credit cards off the darknet, then spend them on MMOs to get in-game currency, and then sell this in-game currency for money. And this way it's basically kind of launderied, and it's an easy way to cash out on the credit cards, on the stolen credit cards. So like there's big major titles like World of Warcraft and stuff like this that have big issues with this. So I hope he doesn't mean anything like this, and stuff like this will not happen to Flyff Universe, because that's going to be a real mess. I'm not sure if like a small company like Gala can handle this. Will there be a possibility to transfer a character to another server, even to another region? No, and thanks God there isn't. I'm asking this as some kind of critique about the latest World Boss event. Why did you announce that everyone can participate if only the top 10 DPS were able to have a chance of retrieving the best rewards? So, like, I understand that healers were underwhelming, but other than that, that event was so extremely free-to-play friendly, and I have no idea why people are complaining. You were literally getting, for sitting on a board and doing nothing, you were getting free amplifications in form of the balloons and power-ups. You had to provide zero value. And now people are bitching that people that like actually pay a shit ton in the game, like invest, like keep the game running, are getting like a visual reward. It's a visual reward. Like nothing that is overpowering them or in any sense. It's a visual reward. So like whoever wrote this, I would probably say go F yourself. Are there any plans for a coupled system like in Flyff PC? If so, when can we expect it to be implemented? Okay, they're saying no, and yeah. I think the coupled system itself, it's the same that we already discussed with the collecting system, and it's giving you benefits for just being AFK, and I think benefits should be earned by doing something, not by AFKing around. Would it be possible to count healing and support ringmasters for the progress of farming titles? Currently, it's pretty hard to farm titles when playing as full support ringmaster. Okay, they're saying it's not possible. Okay, so maybe they can think about, you know, how the game is checking if you're actively healing to provide you the additional experience. Maybe they can also add a check on which monster was killed while you were doing this in the party. So there already is a check and they're implementing the monster. And if you're supporting with the current monster kill, you also get it distributed. So it might be possible. Would you consider implementing quality of life features like auto-consumption of HP and MP refreshers? Wait, what? He wants stuff in the game that is making it a lot easier for everyone to farm AFK on spots with non-target AoEs? What the fuck is this question? Jeez. Will there be accessory sets with set bonuses in the future? Like Flyff PC? If so, when it can be expect them to be implemented and how rare are they be? It is possible that you will see such sets in future vertical expansions, but they are not coming in this next one. Okay, that's fine. And we've already talked about this, that like adding new would probably suck and make a lot of players mad. But if they would have a dungeon where you drop like a stone that can upgrade your normal Vega ring into a champion ring, for example, that would be really sweet. Can we expect more options regarding permissions in the guild window, like options for members of a certain guild rank to start the clockworks and stuff? Okay, so basically they want to have a better rule distribution in the guild, which makes sense, especially like, for example, siege lineups and stuff like this should all be kingpin based, right? So the guild leader doesn't have to be online, kingpins can do it as well. What are the different rates for pet upgrades? We currently know the best level rate, but not intermediate things. Okay, that's actually interesting to look at the S tier pets, well, how high the chance is to get like a decent roll here. So like if we're considering a decent roll to be like a level 7 in the last, we're having 7%, 50, okay. That's interesting. This is good to know, to calculate values in more detail of pets. Is Psykeeper in this game really balanced? We feel left out in terms of gameplay, playstyle on higher levels, especially in Asria. Elementals became more reliable to face tanking and Psykeepers, also the one are quite underwhelming. God, whoever was writing this has no idea. Like, Psykeeper is, in my opinion, at the moment, the best class in everything. So, no clue what that dude is talking about. Like, the only thing it's lacking is maybe 1v1 PvE damage, but like based on the content that is currently offered in Flyff Universe, that is not even needed. So, yeah. Why doesn't Elementor has no chance against full stack classes? I don't say that Elementors make bad damage, but they can't 1v1 a full stack class with a full int build. It feels like there should be a fix. Maybe buff 1v1 skills or something. Would be nice if this would be at a point for look. Wait, huh? Like, is he talking about PvP? And if so, like, he's talking about 1v1 situations? I don't know, like, why should a full-in squishy that is supposed to be dealing damage standing behind his team supposed to be able to kill a tank solo in a 1v1 situation? That would be like horrible balance if that would be possible. Like, I don't know. Seems rather pointless. Why does the assist skill burst break have such a long cast animation? This should be fixed for AOB build posters to have another viable build. Thank you for the feedback. We agree with this and will increase the animation speed of this skill. This is fairly decent, and the reason why this is usually like the feeling people are getting is with decreased cast time you can increase your int AoE, but you can't increase the animation the cast time of burst break. This is also why int AoE at level 70 is always better than burst break if you have access to some casting speed. Is there a way to make attack speed faster? The current attack speed is too slow, and also why 75% on block rate limit? Okay. I've already made a video about auto attacks of all different classes in Flyff, and if you're interested in understanding more of like the SFX and the attack speed animations that are behind all the different classes, I would recommend watching this. The video is already extremely long, so I don't want to go into too much detail right there. Do you have any plans on nerfing tanks? I observed that 4 to 5 players are mobbers, players who can making it for us 1v1 players so hard to grind level. Please answer my question and come up with a solution. Okay, this was already done, and in the late term I would say really done, very well done. Like the buffs to 1v1 felt extremely good when I was leveling the Jester, and I think they made a pretty good move there. And yeah, let's finish the video with a positive statement that they did fix the difference between AoE and 1v1 to an acceptable level and did really well there. And yeah, that's it. If you like what you saw, don't forget to follow and subscribe. I know it was a long video, but there was actually a lot to talk about. And if you want to discuss something, just put it in the comments and I will try to answer ASAP. Cheers, guys.